This is Great Dane Nation presented by VegasInsider. I'm your host, as always, Morten Anderson. And for the second time ever, I'm joined by my new co-host, Stephanie Otey. Steph, welcome back for round 2 of Great Dane Nation. I hope you're doing well. Let me ask you, you're wearing black for a specific reason today? Are we mourning the fact that
my funeral, really?
Are we perhaps mourning the fact that we lost
You should savor this until we actually get on the field. Once it's August, well, we play you usually, later in the season, but once you come into our neck of the woods, you'll be wearing black, but you're probably used to that by now, right? I did see when you played at Michigan State, you were never able to pull off the upset. So,
ooh, I didn't know. I didn't know. It's getting chilly in here. I can see my breath already. This is didn't take long for the gloves on Great Dane Nation to come right off.
Stole the cold from Mr. Freeze.
Do I?
Well, guys, while we're not exchanging pleasantries here, why don't we just have you pay off this bet right now, Steph? Let's just get right into it.
I didn't even get to throw any more jabs. I just got to get right.
I think that we're in the mood here to pay off this punishment. So for those who didn't listen, go back and check out last episode 83. Stephanie lost the quiz to Morten. Now, to pay off the punishment, she has to don Michigan State gear. She has to sing the Michigan State fight song right here on Great Dane Nation. Stephanie, have you been practicing? Do you have the attire ready? Are you ready to roll?
Okay, so luckily I have Michigan State attire, and I didn't have to give a cent to Sparty. I went to a game. My friend was the backup to Connor Cook, and I went to one of the games. They were giving out some T-shirts.
Okay.
I still don it every once in a while.
Let's roll, Sparty. Okay. Let's go, Sparty.
Let's go. I do have another one that says Izzone. So, back in the Izzone. Before you claimed that he tried to retire.
Before he retired?
Yeah, exactly. So I have some Michigan State attire. I actually have a hat that my brother got as a kid. I tried to figure out, he got it signed from a basketball player, and I don't have the hat on me right now, but he had it back in the day, and I stole it from him as a kid. I wore the attire back in the day, but it was always Buckeye Nation, and because we don't actually consider you guys a rivalry. That's giving you guys yourself too much credit here.
I have to say, Stephanie, I like you better in green and white than in black. I think green and white is suitable for you. I think it's the new you. I think it'll change your attitude a little bit as well. You're going to be, not that you're not a smart woman, of course, but you're going to be even smarter now that you're wearing the gear. So congratulations on a wise choice.
I will say, when I was listening to the song, trying to get the lingo and everything, my YouTube algorithm just kept popping up Buckeye songs, and the great one, "We Don't Give a Damn for the Whole State of Michigan," came on, and I had a solid sidebar where I couldn't focus on the task at hand. And I had like a late night jam session for Hang On Sloopy, Buckeye Battle Cry, Carmen, Ohio, all of our victory cries.
I detect a prolonging of the inevitable here. You're dragging it on and on and on. Our listeners are ready. Our viewers are ready. And
stop procrastinating.
The floor is yours for on the banks of the Red Cedar.
All right, let me pop in these tunes here. I'm actually nervous, you guys. On the banks of the Red Cedar, there's a school that's known to, not really. Its specialty is not winning. All the Spartans play good ball. Spartan teams are never beaten. This is a lie. All through the game, they'll fight for the only colors, green and white. Morten wants to sing. Go fight through for MSU. Watch the points keep growing. Spartan teams are bound to win. They're fighting with a vim. Rah, rah, rah. See, the team is weakening. We're going to win this game. Fight, fight. Rah, team, fight.
Victory for MSU. Da 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 da.
What is vim? Who uses the word vim?
Whim. It's on a whim.
I know, but
Are you done? Keep going.
Come on, you guys got to work on this.
No, you know what? Stephanie, I want to stop you. It's bad. Oh my God, it's bad.
Horrible.
You
can't keep it tuned.
Oh, that was horrible.
At least I was blinded by the background music. You guys heard me a cappella.
There's a cadence to it.
I couldn't get the cadence because every time I was listening to it, I couldn't find it with it was always lyrics without someone singing it with me. So I had to listen to it with a band. There was one where there was a student, everyone was in a Zoom call during COVID that did it. It was hard. It was hard to study. I feel like you guys come on. You guys made it hard for us.
That was.
I did tell you I might lose my voice beforehand.
No.
I did tell you that.
Listen, it's hard when you've never heard the song before. You're not emotionally invested in the song. I could tell that. You had not committed the song to memory. Freeze, not committed to memory, Stephanie.
No, he said have a printout.
It's a teaching moment. It's okay. It's okay. It's a teaching
I don't
moment.
have access to a printer out here. I have access to a laundry machine. I actually had to do laundry. I did laundromat for the first time, and I was dying to find the one that you had.
Trying to change the subject, honestly. Now we're not quite done with evaluating the rendition. I was
trying to tell you how difficult it was. It was not an easy task.
Well, you did. I mean, A for effort, execution. Yeah.
The singing was really bad.
I actually think you guys were punished more than me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you are a listener or viewer of this episode and you are still listening after hearing that, thank you for sticking
so much
with us.
And,
we should put this at the end of the episode just so they don't drop off.
Seriously. But before we get into some awesome NFL talk here, I wanted to tell you guys about our friends from the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook. To all of our great listeners in Colorado, check out the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook right now for a great new deal. Get up to $300 in free bets. Make a bet of $10 or more and receive a free $10 bet up to 30 times. New players only, 21 plus to play, located in Colorado only. Promo code ROAD300. That's ROAD 300. A qualifying bet is $10 or more. Minimum odds of -150. Free bet tokens credited after bet is settled and expire after 7 days. Free bet stakes not included in winnings. And for more information, head to sisportsbook.com.
Stephanie, you get an A. I mean, A for effort. I think you were a great sport. You look good in green and white. Those are the takeaways that I have. I mean, come on. It's one of the most iconic mascots in college football. Is Sparty?
Are you kidding me? Brutus
it is Sparty.
Buckeye.
Buckeye's there.
Buck nuts.
He didn't say the most iconic.
I said one of the most iconic.
Actually, make sure when you reference us, we are the.
It is one of the most iconic. You see Sparty?
Same exact mascot. I kid you not. We were the Trojans at St. Michael when I was kindergarten in the 8th grade. Same exact mascot. And you call that iconic? My old Catholic school back in Worthington, Columbus, Ohio. Yeah.
Spartansville.
Not iconic.
Spartansville. No,
not iconic. And I will say in 8th grade, they pulled a prank and threw something onto the gymnasium wall that stuck on there as an ode to our mascot, the St. Michael Trojans.
Very nice. Very nice. Well,
yeah. So how's that as a mascot, Sparty?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have I'm not sure I really have a comeback on that.
I think I stumped you.
as long as there wasn't a Buckeye inside of it.
Oh, really? Brutus is the best. People name their pets after Brutus. When I was naming my dog, I was in between Woody. Well, the Foster family named him Zeke, and I actually got him in Dallas. But my brother just named his son Archie, so that takes Archie Griffin away. So
Archie Griffin is a legend, and
my favorite Buckeye.
One of these teams that we're going to be following in the fall, they're going to be legends. We just don't know which one it is yet. I mean, we've talked a little bit about this in the last episode, guys, but the NFL offseason has been full of high-profile moves, and with all that movement, the Super Bowl futures odds have been moving all over the place. It's always interesting to see early on, right, where they're slotted, and Freeze, fill us in a little bit on the Super Bowl futures and where we are with that, and the numbers, the favorites, and let's talk about what we think, Steph, you and I, on some of these teams that are favored.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things to monitor throughout NFL off seasons because as moves get made, things fire up and down, and then there's value to be had. So I think an interesting exercise for us would be going division by division and looking at the Super Bowl favorite within each division, kind of talking about it and seeing if there's any investment opportunities here for our listeners. So, Stephanie, I think, why don't you choose first? We'll pick the division that you want to go with first, and then we'll kind of go down the line. So have at it.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about legends, and I think that we should start off with the one who returned back to the game, Tom Brady. His odds, when you looked at the Buccaneers odds, for those who got lucky and took the Buccaneers at 35-1 to win the Super Bowl when he was gone, they got lucky. When he returned, that number has gone way down, but I still think the Buccaneers will win the NFC South. They're at 650 now, but the value you could have had when they got him early was significant. So I didn't get him at that price point, but there's still the value point, I think, in the NFC South.
I have a couple observations about Tampa Bay. I think they're still the favorites in the South there, no question. Leftwich now will have total control of the offense this season without Arians on the field. And, Brady will obviously have some input since he's decided to return, but Leftwich will get to run the show. Todd Bowles, of course, the new head coach, will run the defensive side of the ball, but will be involved in some of the game planning on offense now that he's the head coach. So the Buccaneers are going to look to average 30 points per game again next season, as they were the second in the league last year in points per game. Big addition in Keanu Neal. He's coming from Dallas. He's playing safety again. He was actually a linebacker in Dallas, so I think that's really going to help that defensive backfield for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they have Blaine Gabbert. I'm not a Blaine Gabbert fan, but they did re-sign him. Tom Brady. They
get Gronk back. That's still in the mix. But you bring up
he hasn't decided yet, right? You
bring up Leftwich, and that just recently last week they were talking about how Brady took too much credit for his offense.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they worked on it collaboratively, and that's kind of what the issue was with Arians, that he came in and just redlined everything later in the week after they worked on it. But now they're saying the NFL great Tom Brady took too much credit for the offense.
Arians actually said that
both hands. Is he disgruntled? Is he no? Would he have said that if he wasn't pushed out? No,
I think Arians. I mean, he just admitted that. Listen, he got a lot of the credit when they were doing well, and so did Brady. And Leftwich kind of was left there with, what about me? And he got a couple of sniffs at head coach. Jacksonville interviewed him. A couple other teams. He's gonna be a head coach soon. So. Anyway, Mike Evans is there. Tampa Bay, they're loaded again. Injuries notwithstanding, they're going to be great, and they're going to be the go-to team for me as well in the South.
So it sounds like you guys like the Buccaneers as an investment opportunity here at plus 650. If you guys were lucky enough to get them a few weeks ago, you're probably feeling really nice. Up in the NFC North, we got the Green Bay Packers as the Super Bowl favorite amongst that group of teams at plus 1,000. Last season, they went 13-4. Their win total for the 2022 season is currently set at 11. They added Jaron Reed this offseason, but they lost Devontae Adams. Guys, what do you think about the Packers as an investment opportunity at plus 1,000 at the current moment?
I mean, the NFC North might be the NFC East. I mean, the new NFC East, it's not that great of a division now. The Vikings are far behind them, and then you got the Bears and the Lions. Lions it took them almost the full season to get their first win. I think this is a clear-cut winner, but I don't see any value in it. I mean, to win the NFC North at minus 180, not worth taking, I don't think. And obviously, you guys know I'll bet on Justin Fields all day long, but until I see them actually invest in their quarterback and give him anything on offense, they need weapons. They need to build that offensive line. Until they do something to help my guy out, just like the Bengals are doing for Burrow, I can't bet on anyone in this division. And we've seen how the Packers play in the playoffs. I'm not seeing it. And you lose Devontae Adams. Will the Packers get him some wideouts? You know what I mean?
Exactly. They got to have him.
Will they give him something?
Kyle Rudolph is really good value. He's out there. He's available. He could give him a year or two. I think that would be a good choice. They lost their tackle, Billy Turner, due to cap reasons. They don't have a lot of cap room. That's really the problem. They got to go.
I don't see anywhere to bet on this. Like, do you see? I mean, maybe if you're going to take any kind of play in this division, maybe Aaron Rodgers as MVP. Like, that might be your best option. But taking a winner of the NFC North, there's no value really.
I don't have him at MVP even because he just doesn't have the weapons right now to throw to.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I'm going to pass on the Packers. I still think they're the best one in the division.
I had him winning last year, and I mean the way that game ended by a field goal at home too.
Yeah, I have Detroit making the playoffs. By the way, that's my dark horse. I got Detroit.
He's on the record.
That's in another April Fools. Okay, like you can't be the boy that cried wolf. You are not.
I am not. I am taking the Lions to make the playoffs.
How about this? Next week, Morten, we will have a segment for you to tell us why the Lions will make the playoffs in 2022.
Okay, fine.
Honestly,
let's set aside some time.
I will defend.
Yes,
you attack, I will defend. Just like
is it because of Michigan? Really?
Just like Steph did when she started badgering me about Sparty because she had nothing else. And she had just humiliated herself singing the song.
You got nothing in the Lions.
That's how I will defend, vigorously defend.
Please save it for next week. We will argue that point. I'm very curious to see how Morten is going to be able to defend that. Next division we're going to talk about here, Super Bowl champions. Los Angeles Rams, you can get them right now at plus 1,000. Last season, they went 12-5. Their win total for 2022 right now is at 10.5. They added Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner this offseason. Key losses at this point, Odell Beckham Jr. still unsigned, Robert Woods, Von Miller, Johnny Hecker. Do the Rams have value to win the Super Bowl right now at plus 1,000?
I think to win the Super Bowl, like the 49ers are kind of a question mark. We don't really know what Jimmy G is like after having surgery. It's kind of a question mark now, but the Seahawks odds plummeted after the trade. So after Russell Wilson left, it just makes it obvious for the Rams, I think. So there's value there at plus 150 to win the division. I think a 10-1 to win the Super Bowl, they could come back, but how hard is it for a team to come back and win again? And you got Brady back. You got like a lot of people to be up against. So to win the Super Bowl, I don't know, too much of a stretch, but they're investing in their team. I mean,
they really have. They have to stay healthy. They have to keep their QB healthy. Good addition at linebacker there with Bobby Wagner for sure. They lost Von Miller to Buffalo, so that's a pretty good trade, really.
We'll get there, but that's why I like the Bills.
Robert Woods, he's gone. Who do you replace him with? Odell Beckham, he's coming off ACL. So, I mean, I still like them. I think they have Allen Robinson. They signed him to a 3-year deal shortly after Woods was traded to the Titans.
But the Bengals kept it close in the Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow was sacked just as much as the Rams put up. Their whole team collectively had the same amount of sacks that Joe Burrow single-handedly was sacked. So I mean, like for them to compete that well against the Rams then, and that wasn't the best version of the Bengals. I feel like they're building, like they can totally come back stronger. So like if that Bengals team they had to keep it tight with, I think that they could get beat up.
I like Les Snead. He's really good in the front office, especially in free agency. One of the guys I think that they could perhaps land in Los Angeles, Tyrann Mathieu. There's a big sweepstakes there, some talk, some mutual interest at the Rams would fit nicely in their nickel, in their zone match scheme where he can be a ball hawk underneath. So he's more likely to go to the Saints, but if for some reason they can get Tyrann Mathieu, man, they're going to be looking pretty good in their defensive backfield. But still like the Rams. I don't know if there's great value there at that number, but I think they win the division.
Well, so there's definitely value at plus 1,000. It's a matter of if you think it's going to cash. And it doesn't sound like you guys are keen on a Rams repeat at the moment. So maybe our listeners should stick away from investing at the moment. But in the NFC East, we got the Dallas Cowboys at plus 1,400. NFC East is always fun, guys. Are the Cowboys going to emerge next season as a Super Bowl contender after going 12-5 last season?
They underperformed. They underperformed.
They always do. They always do.
They underperformed. They were disappointing in the playoffs. They'll win their division if their defense makes a second-year jump under coordinator Dan Quinn after that offense regains the form. Dak Prescott, his calf injury.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
I like the Cowboys here, but I think there could be value in the Eagles. We're pre-draft right now. They just got a bunch of picks. One of them's got to hit, So I think as a value pick, I do think that the Cowboys are most likely to win the division, but as a value pick to win the division is the Eagles at plus 325. Not for Super Bowl, but for the division, yeah.
Okay. I still like the Cowboys, but you're right. The Eagles, I don't know if I'm crazy.
I'm a Cowboys fan, but to rely on them, I can't.
They re-signed Marcus Lawrence. I thought that was a really good offseason move. I know
they always have a great draft. They always draft well.
Cowboys are better, I would say, entering the draft. Not so much.
It'll also be interesting to see how Carson Wentz fares in Washington. But we're not going to see the Super Bowl winner come from this division.
They lost a bunch of people. Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson, pass rusher, Randy Gregory, guard Connor Williams, gone. So they didn't think Connor was a $20 million receiver. And Cooper was a $20 million receiver and opted to move on, right? So I don't know how they replace him. As far as replacing Gregory with free agent signing, maybe Dante Fowler Jr., they need offensive line help.
Honestly, this division.
A lot of questions.
If we're talking Super Bowl, what are we doing talking about the NFC East?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, somebody has to win the division over there, and I think it's the Cowboys.
Who's got to win the division? But whoever it is, if they get trampled in the playoffs, answer this: who has more of a shot to win a playoff game or go further, the Cowboys or the Packers? I think that's a better question.
Depends on what he gets in Green Bay. Depends on what Aaron gets to throw to.
I think it's going to be Packers versus but none of them are going to go to the Super Bowl. Neither of them are going to the Super Bowl.
So let's not throw our money on the Packers or the Cowboys for a Super Bowl futures at the moment. Maybe the number will go down as they get better throughout the season, and it will be worth investing. A safer investment.
I think we're going to the AFC to find the Super Bowl winner. That's where I think we're going to have it.
Actually, the Eagles have a big draft coming up too. It's not a good draft class. That's the thing.
So Morten mentioned the AFC, right? But we're going to start with the division that I don't think we're going to have the Super Bowl champion coming out of, the AFC South. And the favorites to win the Super Bowl amongst that AFC South group at the moment are the Tennessee Titans at plus 2,000. They went 12-5 last year. Derrick Henry got hurt, and they started to dip towards the end of the season. Their win total for 2022 is set at 9.5. Can King Henry return and get the Titans back to the top of the AFC? Are they worth a little maybe frackle unit for our plus 2,000 here?
Here's the thing about the AFC. They got quarterbacks. But the Titans actually have a team. They're well-rounded. They were top 5 offensive, the top 5 offensive line AFC, top 5 defensive line in the AFC. They're well-rounded. I mean, I think that can get you far to win the Super Bowl. I have a pick that I really like, and I'm actually between 2 AFC teams. But it's not. I don't think it's going to come from the AFC South. But I don't think people are giving enough credit to the Titans. They could surprise you. I mean, there was a reason they were the 1 seed last year, and that was without Derrick Henry for half the year. So we got to give them some love,
Here's what I love about the Tennessee Titans: their culture and Mike Rabel, and they've been able to sign some of their guys back. It doesn't matter. He's moved on. They
still keep in touch. I remember when Kerry Combs coached with Mike Vrabel, they still on Saturday they would watch the Ohio State Michigan game. That's on. All right,
let me finish my thought. On Tennessee, and then you can talk about Ohio State again. Right? Yeah. The best way to show the culture is by looking at the deals for Harold Landry and Robert Woods. Okay. For all the great things Landry said about the Titans and how thankful he was and is that they believe in him, coming back showed that he believes in the team every bit as much. With him not being a franchise tag guy, he had the opportunity to walk into free agency and get as much money as he believed he was worth. But he stayed in Tennessee for less money because he believes in his teammates, his coaches, and he believes that they can win. And so that's it. Landry, John Robinson, they seemed so confident the deal would be done that they just said, hey, I'll take a little less money to stay in this culture because I know what's out there. And it's a lot of places not good, not a good place to be. So
Warren, let me ask you this, though.
They're going to be good.
But if you you played this game, you see both sides of the
Mhm.
ball.
Mhm.
Would you rather be a well-rounded team? You don't have, maybe quarterback's a weak spot, but you're not like the worst in any part. You could be at the top and some great defensive line, great offensive line. Would you prefer a well-rounded team or have that stud of a quarterback? Which team
I'd like to have
would you
both.
prefer? Well, yeah. Which one would you want to be on for the Super Bowl?
It depends on how this quarterback, in other words, does he have the weapons? Because let's say it's Joe Burrow. If you have a stud quarterback, and a lot of the shitty teams get a stud quarterback out of college, and they can't do anything because they have no weapons for him to throw the ball to. So I would rather have a well-rounded team with an above-average quarterback, like the Tennessee Titans. Now, granted, they need a left guard. They need help at the left guard position. But I would say I'd rather have a well-rounded football team with an above-average than a stud quarterback with nothing around him.
All right, Titans might be value pick.
Speaking of a well-rounded team with an above-average quarterback, let's head to the AFC North. The Cleveland Browns is a organization that has slowly but surely made their way into the, hey, we have a nice roster here conversation. They're at 1,600 right now for Super Bowl odds. Last season, they went 8-9. They underperformed, but we know there's talent in that building. Obviously, they just brought in Deshaun Watson. We're not exactly sure what the status is of Deshaun heading into next season. So their win total isn't even available at a lot of sports books right now because we don't know what's going on with the Browns. But let's say Deshaun Watson can play and there's all that talent in that building on both sides of the ball. Cleveland Browns at 1,600 feels like a nice value play to me in the AFC North.
You are not winning the AFC North unless you have Joe Burrow as your quarterback. This guy had the worst offensive line, and he went to the Super Bowl, and he could have won the Super Bowl. I mean, if Aaron Donald didn't come in, come on, why? I'm actually looking at the division odds right now, and I'm stunned. It's very close, but the Ravens and the Browns are tied up plus 200 points or plus 200 right now. Just narrowly behind that, plus 210 for the Bengals. But what, that does not make any sense to me. I get it. You have Deshaun Watson. The Browns were long shots before that. They were 40-1 odds. Again, like you said, we don't really know exactly what their odds are right now. But it is mind-boggling to me that they're just going to jump way up because they got a quarterback who's may or may not going to be around to play, even though he's guaranteed money. What?
And
what are you talking about here?
Therein lies the conundrum for the Cleveland Browns because let's say that Deshaun Watson, gets suspended for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, I don't know, whatever it is. Hey, Baker Mayfield, come here for a second. We need you for 6 games. Please go out and just go 6-0. What if Baker goes 6-0?
I think
and
he's
now
capable.
Deshaun comes back. I'm just saying. And then here comes our $230 million man back. And now you got that controversy. I mean, that could happen. That could actually happen. But having said all that, they need to re-sign Clowney. He's turned down. He turned down like a 2-year, $24 million deal. So they got to re-sign him. They haven't been very busy at all in free agency. Why? They're waiting to see where this whole thing flushes out with Baker Mayfield. And also what's going to happen with Watson. Oh, he's got a huge cap.
Yeah,
so I'm not touching.
I can't rely on them. They can't. The Browns are a mess. The Browns are a mess. When they had Baker and then when they got Deshaun,
I
cannot believe they have better odds than the Bengals. That is stunning. The Ravens, though, they have value there. I mean, their secondary was hit hard with injuries last year. It just started to, stack back up. They still were able to win 8 games before they had 6 straight losses, falling down to the last in their division. But 6 of 9 of those losses were by only 1 score, and 5 of those were a field goal or less. Like,
yeah,
that's why this is tight. I mean, the Steelers are way out. Like, their odds to win the division are plus 900.
Not a Trubisky fan?
I'll be damned if they turn Justin Fields into a Trubinsky in Chicago. But that's the thing. Like, I don't want to fault Chicago quarterbacks because I think it's an organization thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've never had a good quarterback in the history of their organization, really. So Chicago, it's like a cursed quarterback franchise. But let's go to the AFC West here.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs plus 900 right now. You can get them
Doink.
to win the Super Bowl. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes still. You got Andy Reid. They've won a Super Bowl together. They've gone back to the Super Bowl. They're going to probably be in the AFC Championship mix here over the next few years. But they lose Tyreek Hill in a trade to Miami. Guys, are the Chiefs worth a few dollars here at plus 900 to win the Super Bowl?
Doink. No.
I agree with Steph.
This division is loaded.
I like San Diego. I like San Diego. I like the Chargers. I like the Los Angeles Chargers. I got it right. I mean, Kansas City has weapons. Yeah, they lost a really important offensive weapon, but they did get Juju Smith-Schuster.
He's all right.
Coleman, running back. He's all right. Ronald Jones Jr. I mean, they got some guys that can play. I don't see Kansas City like,
Patrick Mahomes.
I just don't see him being good value. I would take the Chargers.
We saw Mahomes have weak moments. He faltered when he was up against the Bengals, and the Bengals had a lot of weaknesses, especially at the offensive line. And he got sacked only 1 time in that game. I mean, either the Bengals stepped up or Mahomes faltered, and I think the blame is on Mahomes. And also, they get rid of weapons, as you said. But I think the value is really in the Chargers because the trade with Russell Wilson to the Broncos gave them significant odds. We saw that change so much. When they opened up, it was at 1,600. After the news of Rodgers staying in Green Bay, those odds went to 2,500 because they thought maybe they would get Russell Wilson. And then when they thought maybe they'd get Aaron Rodgers. So when they found out that they were getting Russell Wilson, the number went back down. So you could have been lucky when you were still considering maybe you'd get Rodgers or not. But the value play right here is to take the Chargers because of the way those numbers played out. Because if you take the Chargers, their odds were way longer with Denver becoming the shiny new toy. Everyone wants to take the Broncos now. I feel like people are overlooking the Chargers or they're just relying on the Chiefs to be the Chiefs. But we saw last year that it's not the same Chiefs squad that they have been. And they can't get back. They can't get back. Andy Reid's been having a hard time getting there.
I like the Chargers' 2 additions, the pass rusher Khalil Mack, defensive back J.C. Jackson to the Los Angeles Chargers. Those are 2 fantastic free agent additions. Just another reason to like the Chargers, and I like them to win the division.
All right, so we're liking the Chargers and the Broncos as better Super Bowl favorites for you guys coming out of the AFC West than the Kansas City Chiefs, who have lost a handful of games over the last 3 or 4 years. So, okay.
That's where I'm at.
We'll see how it goes here.
Broncos. People are too hot on the Broncos that
we will see
in the Chargers.
So we've talked about this on the podcast before. There's a formula in place for if you have a nice roster in place and you plug in a quarterback, you can win a Super Bowl that first year. The Buccaneers just did it. The Rams just did it. Back in the day, Peyton Manning got plugged into the Broncos system. They ended up playing in 2 Super Bowls.
Where's the Super Bowl this year? Because that team,
Glendale, Arizona.
I don't know that the Cardinals are going to be able to do that, but the formula is in place for the Broncos to make a run here. So I personally have invested a few bones on the Broncos as a Super Bowl odds futures play, but we'll see if that cashes out. I have a bunch of futures plays out there. You throw a little frackle unit on each when the odds are crazy.
Gotta hedge it out.
You see what happens. All right, final division, AFC East. Buffalo Bills, plus 650. They are the Super Bowl favorites in that division right now.
I'm all in on the Bills.
It seems like you guys are all in on the Bills because you've poo-pooed pretty much every team we've talked about other than the Bills.
The Bengals. I still like the Bengals, but red hot on the Bills.
Yeah.
I
Give it
think
to
they're
me.
rock solid. Just let them like ride out the AFC as all these other teams just like knock each other out. I think that they're a clear-cut winner. The Patriots are like, all their fans are complaining that they haven't won a playoff game in 3 years, but like, I'm sorry, you're not the same Patriots anymore. And I don't care what anyone says. I'm not hot on Mac Jones. I'm sorry you passed up on my guy Justin Fields for him when he had weapons. Devontae Smith. You had Najee Harris. You had literally a top core Heisman candidates at your arsenal. And so like, obviously you're gonna look great. I mean, there was one game against the Bills that he only threw 3 passes in the whole game, the entire game. I'm sorry, that guy is like overlooked. The Dolphins are looking hot though, and the Jets are just a wash.
Morten, before you talk about this division, I just got to defend my Pats real quick because that was a scorching hot.
Are they
Mac
still playing
Jones
football up there in New England?
How dare you? How dare you? Okay, look, the expectations for Mac weren't all that high heading into the season. He outperformed what we expected from him, so good for him. Me personally, I would have traded up to get Justin Fields, but the Bears decided to do that, and that's why the Patriots were stuck with Mac Jones at 15. So do not begrudge the Patriots because the Bears were the aggressive ones to go up to 11. That's not the Patriots style. They're not going to trade up in the draft. That's not what we do. So I just want to level set here. Mac Jones, he outperformed what we expected him to. A lot of Patriot fans like myself wanted Justin Fields, but we know that Bill Belichick doesn't like to trade up. So they didn't pick Mac Jones over Justin Fields. The Bears just got aggressive. Anyways, Morten, Bills, yay or nay?
That's the one thing the Bears did right, though.
Yeah. Well, I say bye on the Buffalo Bills. I like them a lot. They're my Super Bowl favorite. They were my Super Bowl favorites last year. I was incorrect in my prediction, but that happens. So are a lot of other people.
Close. They might as well could have been.
Hey, they didn't have home field. They got to get home field throughout. They don't
changed
need
the
to
rule.
travel. They don't need to travel to Kansas City. They need to have home field. Listen, GM Brandon Beane, he's been busy over the last couple of weeks addressing a number of roster spots, and he's improved their pass rush. He's strengthened the interior of the defensive line. He's signed 3 defensive tackles. So I like what they're doing. They found a replacement for Cole Beasley in Jamison Crowder. They added a backup tight end, 2 backup quarterbacks, and a pass-catching running back. So they've been very busy.
And Von Miller.
Sure. Yeah.
They're like, this team is stacked.
Yeah, I like him a lot. The quarterback's a stud. He's maybe one of the top 3 in the league. So, yeah, Buffalo, I'm buying all the way. My Super Bowl favorites.
Are you nervous, though, because we have not seen Josh Allen without Brian Dable yet?
No, not nervous. Why would I be nervous? I don't.
It's something to consider.
Yeah,
sure.
it's up there, but I mean, Josh Allen was phenomenal.
I feel good about Josh Allen, regardless of who his coordinator is. But it's it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Ken Dorsey, hey, great quarterback at Miami, but
the dynamic
Hackett as an OC, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they're the clear best team. To me, absolutely best team in the AFC. Hands down.
I mean, and that's a stacked team. I mean, so when you look at the AFC, there's only 4 teams that are projected to have over 10 wins, and it's all the contenders we're talking about. So it's gonna be a dogfight, and I think that they're gonna come back so vicious after the way they went out. They're not gonna like how devastating it would be for that fan base to like not come back. And they're
working on a new stadium deal, right? They're gonna improve that stadium.
Well, the Bengals are looking to get an indoor facility now that they're Super Bowl contenders. So honestly, I don't even want to decide between the 2 of them because I'm like hot on both. But
all right, Stephanie, before we get into Doink or down the middle here to help us close out the pod, I want you on the record, 30 seconds. What team do you root for in the NFL? Are you a Bengals fan? Are you a Cowboys fan? Are you just a Joe Burrow fan? Are you an Ohio State Buckeye fan? No matter who plays where, like what? We need this defined because the Bengals fandom stuff has been going on for a while.
Let me tell you. Let me explain it. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. That's like college football nation. Bengals and Browns were nothing. I'm sorry, they were so irrelevant. I had so much Cowboys gear growing up. I had family out there. I still do. Like my cousin and my aunt, like they married into Romo's family just a few years ago. Like I am so in on the Cowboys, but now that I've got into the industry, I started to move away from it. And when my Buckeyes move on, I become a fan. Like, I loved Washington a few years ago when they got Chase Young. They had Terry McLaurin, Alex Smith. Like, I wanted to root for him, but it was like almost very nerve-wracking. And then they got Heineke, which is like so baller the way he played. Like, I like to root for certain stories. So, I mean, obviously Justin Fields, I want to see successful. Joe Burrow is magical. I root for certain. No one wants to hear me say it, but I wanted to see Urban Meyer be successful because he's a close contact of mine. So I want to see certain people shine. And there's some people I just like, I want you to lose. Like, I'm sorry, Tom Brady. I'm tired of it. The young quarterbacks are coming in. You can try to unretire, but I'm sorry. It's a young quarterbacks league now. Sorry.
You know what I used to say when I watched Heineke? You mentioned Heineke. Come to think of it, I'll have a Heineke. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be here all the day. Try the veal.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Stephanie. Now that it's on the record, you don't have a true, like, one team you root for. You pull for the Buckeyes.
I'm a journalist at heart. Like, I love the stories. That's like why I got into this field. I live for the Cinderella stories. Like, the St. Peter's Peacocks was unbelievable. Like, my Buckeyes winning the national championship, beating out Nick Saban with a third string quarterback, like unreal. So
you started a new wardrobe of Michigan State swag, which is great. That's good for you.
Izzo is actually, I feel confident betting against him in March now. Like, that's sad. So I don't know what else you have left, but I hate to say that. I'm sure
he'll retire before then.
Yeah, he's going to be stronger than Coach K.
So did Stephanie.
All right, guys, it's time for Doink or Down the Middle. It's a fun opportunity to learn more about our new co-host, Stephanie Otey, and really to learn more about the great Dane himself, Morten Anderson. We're going to throw out some topics. They're going to tell me down the middle if they like it, doink if they don't. So here we go. First topic.
We're fishing.
Speaking of fishing, the beach. Doink or down the middle. Tom has
to keep us on track because me and
Morten
are literally playing like charades right now.
I'm in. Down the middle on the beach.
It is good.
I'm a doink.
What?
Y'all, I'm weird. I'm the only person of my breed that is like this. Like, I don't like beach towns. I grew up with we still have this place in Hilton Head with the beach, the freaking sand coming in. It's like hardwood, like you just feel it. Or it's like in the carpet, like sand. No. Also, explain to me one single freaking reason why someone would want to lay out on the beach.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm not laying out.
Sweating your standy, and my skin is like literally. I hate the sun. My skin is like just like I just burn, flake off, no tan. Like, I get no benefit from it. I like to have good skin when I'm older. Like, I'm just not a beach person. Also, like, I just relate it to laziness, and I think I have an addiction to being productive. I'm not good with downtime.
Wow, I totally disagree. I'm down the middle on the beach, and I relate the beach to extreme wealth. And
oh my God, like Fort Myers or something? Like what?
And lots of free time to do whatever the hell I want to do. I kicked my very last field goal in my entire life, probably, on a beach in Florida, barefoot. Go look at my picture on my Twitter handle. It's got a picture of me barefoot kicking a football on a beach. I remember like there was like a couple hundred people, and they started watching my buddy Jamie and I. Well, not in the beginning.
Oh, I was going to say, did you send out a tweet like, everybody come watch me kick my last kick?
I'll tell the story. If you be quiet for a second, I'll tell the story.
I'm amped up. I want to know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying. I was down there on spring break, and I brought a couple of footballs. I said, man, Jamie, wouldn't it be fun to kick a couple of field goals? He goes, man, I don't know. Is that a good idea? Barefoot, we're in the swim trunks. I started kicking them, 30 yards. He kept moving back. I go, just put your arms over your head. So he did that. And I'm banging him through the uprights off the sand. Now people are starting to notice. And it's like they made like a gauntlet for 40 yards. And I'm kicking down this thing. People are cheering, drinking beer. It's a lot of fun. Finally, one guy comes up and goes, dude, Give it a shot, man. Why didn't you try to, get a tryout with the NFL? Had no clue who I was. I never divulged who I was. I said, no, man, this is just for fun. I couldn't walk the next day, guys. I was so yacked. My knees were ruined. So that was the last time I kicked. So, yeah, back to the beach one. Down the middle for sure.
Well, okay, if I saw that on the beach, I would probably say down the middle. But no, I didn't get to watch a Hall of Famer kick their last kick on a beach before. So
I know.
Doink.
Crazy. Wow. I am shocked by that answer. But this is why we play the game, guys. All right, next up, Doink or down the middle, cable television.
Down the middle. What? I'm the young one. You're the old time. What?
No, Doink.
You don't like going on like the TV guide and like scrolling down? You have to go to a different like streaming app to go to each show.
Yeah, cable TV is old school. I mean, it was great back when that was the only option, I suppose.
Maybe when they got.
But now with the choices,
better.
are you talking about Freeze? Are you talking about cable television today or 20 years ago?
Today.
Like, do you pay? Do you have a cable provider? Like, do you pay for cable or just internet?
DirecTV.
Okay, see, yeah. So then
That's satellite.
Ooh, you're a satellite guy.
Well, that's because you're in the South. My parents are the same way. My parents are kind of near you. Like the only cable provider is DirecTV.
I didn't know DirecTV discriminated against where you
Well,
live.
it's like for like remote places. Like my parents are like out in the mountains, and then there's a golf course there and everything, but it's like down by water and mountains and stuff. It's like an hour from you, maybe.
Anyway, I'm Doink on cable TV.
So that's a tough one because I use it through my parents. Like I have their logins. So
Okay. Login?
Yeah.
I don't log into my DirecTV. It's just there. I turn it on.
Well, yeah, you can log in.
I have a gazillion channels. It works really well. You should try it.
Oh, you pay for the gazillion package?
So you're not doinking it then?
You get free NFL ticket being an NFL legend. So that's cool.
Do you really?
It's a nice
perk. Everybody
honestly, like that should be a gimme. Like really.
That's a perk. That's a perk. If you've ever played in the league, you get free NFL ticket.
I like that. All right, guys, last.
Go ahead. I was going to ask if you get Super Bowl tickets every year too.
Ooh, that's a good question, actually.
You don't. No, you don't. You enter a lottery.
You have to win a Super Bowl for that?
Not good one.
Wow.
Little stinger. That's fine.
Wow. That's a really good burn. That's a really good burn.
Do you want me to send you a Buckeye shirt to wear next week?
No, I'm good. I think I'm just relishing the fact that you got Sparty on there. And you will still have it on for a couple more minutes.
I wore this whole show.
It's a sleep shirt.
It is. It 100%. I don't wear it anywhere but to bed.
There you go.
Last doinker down the middle for us here, guys. Formal wear.
It depends on the occasion. I like it. I like to get dressed up.
I like tuxedos. Yeah, I'm a big. I love James Bond, and when he was in the tux with. James Bond. Martini shaken, not stirred.
Well, guys, I need your official answer so I can play the fun sound effect.
Down the middle.
Down the middle.
It is gone.
Down the middle, dog.
I'm just gonna say doink so I can play that sound effect again.
Oh man, no, I think I think formal wear is cool, as long as it's fitting. Like I don't like a shirt that's too tight up in the neck and it cuts into you, and then you have like the neck fat that hangs over the collar. That's not a good look.
Is that what Dickies are for? The things that like
What's a Dickie?
It's like a Southern tie, right? Or no?
Oh, like
I just know
Clark, like
Griswold.
an ascot, like an ascot.
No, Clark Griswold wears one in Christmas Vacation.
I think it's called a neck extender.
It's literally like a bib. I thought. I don't know.
A neck extender. See, I got like if you got gizzard neck, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have like a double chin. It's not good. Like it falls over the thing.
Wow.
There's no way. I mean, you can
Like
tuck your stomach into your pants, but how do you tuck your neck into anything? It hangs there.
You just pull it back in the back. Maybe get like a clothespin and just
get like a stapler.
That would
on
be
each side, and then you're like, hi. No, it's not a good look.
I can't say I relate, but. Like formal wear is always something you're celebrating something. You know what I mean? Like a wedding or, well, we said we hated award shows last week, so just don't.
But I'm not an awards show. Which I hate. I'm doink on award show, but I'm So I'm a little hypocritic, maybe, right? Because formal
What
wear.
about the
Oh.
ESPYs? Does that count?
What's that?
Do you not like the ESPYs?
No, that's an award show. No. And I've never been invited. And I'm not sitting in the back. I'm not sitting in the back.
That's why you don't like it.
Because I never was
What
invited.
about the Hall of Fame induction? What about that?
Yeah, that was strong.
I love that.
But if you notice, everybody in the audience all are wearing shorts and T-shirts because it's hot, very hot, and it's outside. But that's a sweet one because you're up on stage wearing a gold jacket. I mean, that's a whole different vibe.
As long as you don't have like wine all over it or like something splashed on it, like.
All right, that shirt needs. You gotta. I don't know if the shirt you're wearing is pre-shrunk or if you wash it, it'll stay the course for you. All right, stay the course for you then. So I will. I'll let you guys go. Stephanie, you can go wash your Michigan State Spartan T-shirt and keep practicing the Spartan fight song. I'm sure there's going to be more occasions where
you did almost say fart song.
Spartan fight. I said Spartan fight song. I did not say Spartan fight.
You said
very close.
Well, that's what it sounded like when you sang it. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that.
I literally can we just have like the production team dub that out into like a remix thing? Like
good fart sound, be good. That'd be great. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed.
We need to land the plane here, guys.
I'm landing it right now. Here we go. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Great Dane Nation. Oh, by the way, before I go, guys.
I was just going to ask you that. I was just going to ask, where is the Harvard diploma?
There it is.
Can you zoom in on the dates, though, just so can everyone?
No, don't need the dates. You saw it. Everybody saw it. It says Harvard Business School.
So fast.
I'm so out. This is Great Dane Nation. We'll see you next time.